stumbled through explaining to other people what you do? I know I have before. You get that kind of deer in headlights look. Well, welcome to Main Street Success Stories. Today we're talking about one of the most essential skills for any business owner. It's nailing your elevator pitch. You know, that 30 to 60 second time that you have to really tell somebody what you do? My guest today, Leslie, is an expert in business communication and public speaking, and she's here to share a simple yet very powerful formula to make sure people actually remember what you do. I invite you to listen in. Welcome to the Main Street Success Stories podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Koch. I've been a business owner for about 25 years, and now I'm a business coach. I actually turned my first business into a franchise and successfully sold it after owning and operating it for 20 years. I prioritize building a business while also building a life and love working with the creative entrepreneur. I mostly work with emerging business owners who desire growth. They are in their first 5 years of the journey and want a plan that's going to help them succeed for years to come. They're tired of not getting paid enough, feel stuck, and want more for their business and family. If you are a business owner and you're feeling stressed about how to attract more customers, you have a really good sales month, but then you look at your bank account and wonder where the money went. You look at your financial statements, but if you're being honest, you're not really sure what to do with the information. And you just tell yourself, if I work harder, it'll fix all my issues, only to feel exhausted and never see things improve. You're here because you want to build your business, but you also want to build a life that you love. I invite you to learn more about one of my 3 coaching programs designed to help you earn more and stress less. You can choose which option works best for you. Imagine this. You have a clear plan and momentum, and you're gaining more clients every week. Your revenue climbs by 20% or more. You save 5 hours a week because you know exactly where to show up. You're experiencing double-digit growth in your profits. People refer customers to your business because they understand exactly who you help and what you do. If this is you and you desire more, reach out, let's have a conversation, and you can click in the show notes below. Welcome, Leslie, to the show. I'm excited to have you on today.
Thanks, Jennifer. I'm excited to be here.
So before we get started, you have a very specific skill set that I'm excited to dive into today. But before we get started, take us back to what you used to do and what you're currently doing with your business.
Sure. So I spent most of my career in the employee assistance programming field, where I was in business development. And a lot of my job was to educate employees and supervisors on why they should use the program. So I spent a lot of my time speaking to groups. And because of that, I like to think I invested in myself and developed my public speaking skills and worked with a lot of coworkers to help them improve theirs. So I kind of was the go-to person in the organization for that. And then I spent more than a couple, probably a 10-year period with an organization that helped me learn about networking. And again, did a lot of speaking, training, and development for groups, for members of that organization. And I think maybe that's how you and I originally met. Not sure, but I know that I'll do a lot of networking to talk about our business. And so when I retired from my corporate life last May, I didn't necessarily want to retire. I wanted to do something that I felt would make a difference, that would be impactful, and that I could enjoy doing. So I started Business Speaking Solutions to help people think about how they talk about themselves, what they say, how to make an impact, make a difference, and really have people say, oh, that's what you do? Tell me more.
Okay, first of all, there's many people out there who are very jealous because you got to retire and then do a passion business, which how exciting to just do something that's so impactful. I just love that.
Thanks.
So yes, you and I met at networking, and the last episode of this podcast, I talked with Sarah, someone else that you know, and we talked about networking. So for those that haven't had a chance to listen, I encourage you to go back and listen to that one because networking is so powerful. You know, it's a place where you build relationships, you meet people, and, you meet people that might know your ideal client or customer, and it just opens up doors. I mean, the statistics on networking are amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing I've noticed that and you and I probably could agree on this, is a lot of times when you go to these type events, there'll be, a circle and everyone stands up and gives what we call our elevator pitch. So first of all, I don't know where the term elevator pitch came from. I don't know if you do or not, but tell us, what is an elevator pitch?
So it's the time it takes an elevator to go from the first floor, and I don't remember the number of floors, but it's how long you have inside an elevator with someone, which is 30 to 60 seconds, to tell them about what you do. And to me, the name pitch is a little bit misleading, because what I want to do is share my story in a way that would make somebody say, "Oh, Jen, tell me more," or, "Oh, Jen, I know somebody who could use what you do. Let me introduce you," or broker an introduction. That's a lot in a short period of time, but I believe it's possible. The mistake I see most people make, well, they don't come prepared, number one. They think, "Oh, I can just wing this."
Right. Which I'm guilty of that. Trust me, I've bumbled over plenty of elevator pitch in my time.
Well, I used to do that too. All of these things I'm sharing with people, I learned the hard way. I learned how to do them. And what I know now is that when I am prepared and I can talk about myself in a way that is interesting to people, then I make better connections. And you mentioned referrals and networking. It's about those connections. And it is not a one and done. It is not, I'm going to come and share my card with everybody and take my 8.5 by 11 piece of glossy advertising that's a beautiful piece and litter the room with it. Because guess what? It's not going anywhere. I can't tell you how many people I've met that shove this thing in my hand. It's like, I don't even know if I need what you do. I don't even know what you do. Please don't.
Right. And then you're immediately in the defensive mode instead of the, wanting to lean in. And I think you nailed it with the word pitch, like elevator pitch. Yeah, I wish we could change that word, because I think today's society, that feels salesy. Nobody wants salesy anymore. Yeah. And you're right. We're trying to create a statement that gets someone to lean in and maybe ask for your business card or ask a follow-up question, create curiosity.
Yes.
And I always call it the pass the face test.
Yes.
When you say what you do in your elevator pitch, your 30-second spiel, if somebody's face doesn't come to mind, then you're too broad. And I know I've sat in plenty of networking rooms or conferences, and you get a chance to stand up. You've got that 30 seconds, you've got that 60 seconds to say who you are. And honestly, I feel like most people, I'm left thinking, well, what do they do? I don't quite get who they do, and I don't quite get who I should refer them to.
Exactly.
So you have perfected a formula.
Well, the one thing I want people to keep in mind, because when you talked about those networking rooms, the more specific I can be, and you're exactly right, you need to trigger in somebody's head a face. Because I work with everybody doesn't cut it. When you say everybody, there's no one's face that comes. But if I say your sister-in-law or your cousin or your boss or your coworker in the cube next door, whatever, that paints a picture. So help me help you. And then in order to be terrific, you need to be specific. And people are afraid of specificity, but it helps you. So let me just make up a couple of stories, because there's a lot of people who sell residential real estate. Right. So when you meet somebody that says, "Hey, I'm John Smith. I'm a real estate agent for XYZ Realty, and I help people buy homes and sell homes in the local area." Does anybody come to mind?
Not one person.
Yeah.
So, nothing against John Smith, but no,
exactly.
One person came to mind.
There's a John Smith that's out there. I apologize, but we could talk about anybody's name.
Right.
Instead, if I said, "Have you ever felt like finding your dream home is like searching for a needle in the haystack?" Many home buyers get overwhelmed with endless listings, missed opportunities, and the stress of negotiations. I simplify the process. using my insider knowledge and personalized approach to find you the perfect home faster and with less stress. Unlike other agents, I focus on understanding your lifestyle and your future goals, not just your budget. Just last month, the Johnson family said, John found us our forever home in a neighborhood we never thought possible. So if you're ready to stop searching and start living, let's schedule a quick call and discuss your dream home.
Wow, that was a lot of information in 60
And
seconds.
we didn't time it, but I bet you it was less than 60 seconds.
Yeah, that is a lot of information. So let's break that down. So you kind of like, do you have
Sure.
a kind of a
Yeah. So here's the
process?
formula.
Okay.
So first of all, give me a hook. And maybe you don't like that word either. It's kind of like pitch, right? But you've got to share something that makes people perk up their ears. So the question, have you ever felt like your dream home is like searching for a needle in the haystack? Yeah, if you've been house hunting lately, maybe that's the case.
Right. So that's kind of the hook that gets me like, oh, that's fun. That's a unique approach. Yeah.
And then the problem,
Okay.
many home buyers get overwhelmed with listings and missed opportunities and the stress of negotiations. The solution that John offers is he simplifies the process. What's unique about him? Well, unlike other agents, I focus on understanding, like maybe you have a unique process in your business. Maybe you can slide in a testimonial. Just last week, a client said this. And then what do you want people to do? Most of the time, you want them to have a conversation with you. Let's book a call. Let's get together. Or maybe you're just interested in having people sign up for your newsletter, or you have a free giveaway. I know, Jennifer, in your business, you do a free consultation call. So let's schedule a time to meet and see if I can even help you, because I don't know that I can. I think I can, but until we have a conversation, not going to know that.
Okay. So we're creating some kind of hook that's creating the curiosity.
Yes.
We're then sharing the problem, which makes sense. We're then giving them the solution, but we're sharing it in the unique way that we do it, not just I help you find a home.
Right. Yeah.
And then throwing that testimonial in there, that was interesting to me, because I'm afraid like this feels like, do you have to memorize all this? Like, so is that probably your next tip, is to really practice?
Well,
Practice?
I would say practice, but practice so it feels right and feels comfortable. And maybe you don't you decide, I will maybe not have a testimonial, or maybe I'm new in my business. I meet some people that are just starting. They're like, I haven't worked, I don't have that yet. Okay. So you don't have that yet. Don't worry about it. But I believe you can talk about what makes you unique and the problem you solve, and have maybe 2 or 3 different opening lines that you think about, 2 or 3 different ways you introduce yourself. There's probably a startling statistic. I know, Jennifer, your statistic that you talk about is the number of businesses that fail before they get to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so that's something you're passionate about. You share that and it comes through. And as a business owner, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't want to fail. But, if I'm in business 10 years, well, that's not a good fit for you. And you want to know that right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not a good fit, but I probably know somebody, right? My
Right.
neighbor next door just started, or my daughter-in-law just started, or my friend just started, whatever. And I can connect. Say, yeah, this is somebody you should meet. So having that bit of information about the industry, some fact or question. When you start with a question, it gets people thinking.
Okay.
So you could even say, how the real estate market has been absolutely up and down lately, and people are kind of scared and frustrated. And then you could talk about what you do, and you could talk about why you're different. I've been in this market. I've been an agent for 20 years, or I'm new to this industry. I'm a new agent, but here's what I can tell you because I'm new. And so tell me why, like the evaluation that people are making in their head is, do I want to work with this person? And do I want to get to know them? Maybe that's the
Right.
first question. I don't even know if I want to work with you, but I want to get to know them because they seem like they're sincere. They seem like they have thought about this. And the other thing mistake I see people make, you said that's a lot of information. Yes, it is. But I feel like it's a right amount of information, because the other thing I've seen people do is everybody has a minute at the table. Somebody invariably takes 5.
Always.
Every time.
Always. And I always feel bad for the poor timekeeper, because there's usually a timekeeper and they set it on their phone and the phone's pinging away and that person just keeps going and going and going.
I know. So to me, that you haven't thought about what you're going to say before you've gotten there. And yes, open your phone, record yourself, listen to yourself, time it, and say it again. And say it again. So yeah, you have to practice a few times. I believe it will be time well spent on your behalf, because what you want from a networking event, in my opinion, is you want to leave with 1 or 2 connections or booked meetings. Because if somebody says to you, oh my gosh, Jen, I know that's so true, and I've been in business 6 months and I'm scared to death. I'm not going to make it to month 8, let alone 5 years.
Right.
We should talk, right? Those kinds of, that's what you want. Like, yeah, I need to learn more about what you do.
And I think you're right about take the time now to prepare, because what a missed opportunity. If you walk into a room of 30 people and your elevator pitch is leaving everybody scratching their head and not a face doesn't come to mind, you've just missed a big opportunity and you're wasting your time. And a big piece of this is being clear about what you do. So I love how you say, like, take the time to do this. Do you have any other examples for us?
Oh, I have several I made up, because I'm not sure what your listening audience is made up of. So I just kind of put some, so let's say IT services. If I'm maybe an IT company that does managed services.
Okay.
Is there a lot of folks, IT is such a big part of our lives, but it can also be this mysterious kind of thing. I mean, all of us use computers, right? We all use smartphones, but I don't even know for sure all of the inner workings, and it's like going into Oz and behind the curtain sometimes. Right. Anyway, so instead of saying, hey, I'm ABC IT Solutions and we provide managed care to small businesses, is your business constantly battling IT issues? Downtime, security threats, outdated technology can cripple a small business, leading to lost productivity and revenue. We provide proactive managed IT services to ensure your systems are secure, efficient, and running smoothly so you can focus on growing your business. We become your virtual IT department, offering 24/7 support and strategic technology planning tailored to your specific industry. A client recently said, since partnering with ABC IT, our downtime has been virtually eliminated and our team is more productive than ever. So let's discuss how we can eliminate your IT headaches. Schedule a free network assessment today.
Awesome. So yeah, you've included all the things, all your formula in that, and it is so much more clear on what this company does and how they help. Do you also kind of recommend, let's say somebody works specifically, let's use the real estate example like we did earlier, with first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
Or, I work with entrepreneurs who I call creative entrepreneurs in their first 5 years. Do you recommend that being part of it too when you're very specific about who you serve?
Yes, because that, again, eliminates, you don't want the people that aren't the right fit for you. So if you work with first-time home buyers, you don't want necessarily to work with an investment property person. Or maybe you specialize in people who are downsizing, empty nesters who are moving to their next phase of life home, whatever you want to call that. Or you're looking to work with the adult children of people who need to go into long-term care or nursing care or those, that's a specialty market I've seen coming up lately because that's a different family dynamic. Or maybe you're the real estate agent that specializes in the dealing with a family of deceased household members. Because what do you do with that piece of property? And then that's a whole new dynamic. That's a very specialized market. But I'm not going to be you're not going to want to work necessarily with a first-time home buyer or somebody who maybe you're the second. You specialize in the people who've outgrown their first home and they're looking for their forever home or however you want to word that. But
Right.
think the more you can be specific to a niche, and the challenge we have is we think, well, I'm eliminating. I don't want to limit.
Yeah, right.
The more you narrow in, think of the difference in the power between a fluorescent light bulb and a laser beam. They both run on electricity, but a laser beam can cut steel if it's focused enough. And you want to focus enough.
Right. Very good. So then this is kind of your formula for creating the 60-second, a little bit longer. And then sometimes I've been to some networking where they said, you've got 30 seconds, you've got 10 seconds. I've even been to one where you had one word, which that's really challenging.
Oh, yeah.
But this, to me, I feel like start here. This is the hard work, in my opinion.
Yes.
Practice this, get this kind of where it comes off your tongue real natural, and then you can condense it into shorter blurbs that you need for whatever audience or whatever event you're attending.
Yeah. The other thing you can do with it is expand it. Maybe I've got an investor pitch or a customer pitch or a presentation, I should say, but you can expand it to 10 minutes, 60 minutes, a half-day workshop, whatever it is you need in your business. Once I have that base down, I can expand or contract. So putting in the work now can make a big difference.
It's funny because sometimes the less words is harder. Most of us don't have a hard time spending 10 minutes describing what we do, but when you have to try to condense it to 60 seconds makes it a lot harder. So, and the other thing I was just thinking is this also can be used in your bios. You could put this in your about section in your LinkedIn, your bios on all your social media platforms, even your email signature. So it really has a lot of repurposing. You just have to get it down first. So Leslie, if somebody wants to dive into this, do you hold workshops or what's the best way to really start perfecting our elevator pitch?
Yes, I have a workshop coming up on March 20th. I don't know when your program's going to air. I also do this as a one-to-one session.
Okay.
So we start with what they're currently saying, and then we usually end up with at least one option, sometimes two. So I give them some choices. We work together for an hour, allow you to practice and really dive into what it is you want to say and communicate with people.
Okay. And then in addition to this, you are also helping people with their speaking presentations.
Yes.
So that is your passion.
I have a course that I recently launched, 5 Steps to Speaking Success, and I work with people short or long term for their specific needs. A lot of times it's filler words that people want to get over. It's talking succinctly and clearly. They know they have to eliminate the jargon. Every industry has jargon, so we want to be careful of that. But communicating their message in a way that is clear, but in a way that makes a difference. I know you've heard this before. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So that's what I want to help people with, is making that powerful first impression. And then more than that, building those relationships. Because when we think about networking, and if you go to, I'll just pick on Chamber of Commerce. If you go to chamber events regularly, you are going to see a handful of people that are always the same. They always show up for every event. And so you get to know those people and build at least at the very least, it's, oh yeah, hey, I remember you from last time, right? And I can remember what you do more than I can remember your name. I can remember people's professions. I sometimes struggle with the name. But that's what you want to be able to do is connect those dots and also say, oh, hey, I talked to somebody the other day that you should be talking to.
Well, and I think in this world that we live in right now, it's going so fast and it's tough to be remembered. And
Yes.
using this type of a tool is a good step. And I'm a big fan of networking. That's one of the best business practices I teach my clients. And so I can't think of a better way than to get out there and network and practice your elevator pitch. And please, I'm going to throw a call out there that everyone, please send us your elevator pitch, DM it to us in one of our socials. I'd love to see what they come up with after
Yes.
listening.
Yes, I'd love to see that too. That'd be great, Jennifer.
Well, I will put links to all of your information so they can share their elevator pitch with you. And thank you so much for sharing this formula that you've perfected. I know that I need to work on mine, and I'm going to take what you shared today and get at it.
Awesome. Thanks.
Here's the reality. It is going to be very, very challenging for you as a business owner to grow if you don't have a network. Not only grow, but also stay in the game on those hard days. And we skill up that way. I know I have some really good connections that have become personal friends from taking the time to network. So I hope these tips that Sarah shared today help you get out of your comfort zone, because the reality is people are craving connection, and we can sit behind our computers and use AI and use all our digital tools, but how you're going to be remembered are by relationships. So if you are looking to grow, check out Sarah's group. But also, if you're feeling intimidated and need a wingman, reach out to me. If we're in West Michigan, I'm happy to tag along. Until next time, thanks for listening. Keep building, and remember to support your local businesses. They need us more than ever. And be sure to share this episode with your networking bestie and invite them along to join you.